Yes. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for this online session on signals and systems, where we'll be dealing with a few numerical problems on convolution sum. Now, I discussed these concepts in the class. I discussed these concepts such as solution to differential equation in today's class, and I'll be having a few more classes which are there both in online and offline due to the time constraint. And let me start sharing my screen and make the use of this online class. And everyone, just to make you understand better, I'm conducting this online classes and having this recorded sessions being shared, and see to it that we are going to have few more sessions like this in the near future. Okay, I hope the screen is visible to everyone. And let me start. Yes, so we had covered these things in the earlier video, and I'll be covering the numerical problems which are there. Now, let me start the first problem, which is consider consider an input consider an input x of n consider an input x of n and a unit impulse and a unit impulse response unit impulse response h of n given by given by so I'll be having a x of n which is given by alpha power n u of n, and h of n which is given by u of n h of n which is given by u of n, so where alpha lies between 0 and 1. Alpha lies between 0 and 1. So now I have this value which is 0 to 1 as the value of alpha, like alpha might be 0.25, alpha might be zero point 0.5, alpha might be a 0.75, and so on. Now I have alpha with the range greater than 0, where alpha is greater than 0 and it is less than 1. So these are the values, these are the general typical values what we will be covering. And we know that y of n, we know that y of n. Okay, so what is y of n in convolution terms? We have y of n equals x of n convoluted with h of n. X of n convoluted with h of n. Now, how I can write this? So I'll be having sigma n equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k h of n minus k. So I have x of k and h of n minus k. So this is the definition what is given in the convolution sum. This is the definition of a convolution sum here. This is the definition of convolution sum. Now I have this convolution sum and I want to extend it to x of k. So I have x of n written like this, and I have x of k being given by alpha power k u of k. Alpha power k u of k. Now I have h of n minus k. It's a time shifting property. Hope you are aware of it. So now I have an LTI system which is that I need to have the time shifting property where it is given as u of n minus k. I have u of n minus k. Now I have x of k and I have h of n minus k here. Now what do I need to do? I need to have two values here. I need to have two values which is n less than 0. First, I'll be taking the case 1 where I'll be having n less than 0. Now, the product x of k and h of n minus k, x of k and h of n minus k is said to be 0, and y of n, that will also be equal to 0. So sigma, I have n equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k h of n minus k, that is given by y of n, that is given as y of n. Now I should write it as y of n. Once it is equal to 0, what I should write? I should be having alpha power k u of k, and I'll be having u of n minus k. So that will be equal to y of n. So this is sigma n equals minus infinity to plus infinity. Now I need to have this value once when it is equal to 1. So I have u of k and u of n minus k. So I have this term, and it will be having a value which will be equal to 1 and 0. Now what I'll be having here is the value of n minus k, the value of n minus k, which will be greater than or equal to 0. So I'll be having n greater than or equal to k. Got it? So, or I can write it as k less than or equal to n. Now, in other cases, it is 0. Now, I have the values which is n less than 0. Certainly, y of n will be equal to 0 here. So, this is how I make an interpretation of the given variables. That is the given problem here, where I'll be having u of k and u of n minus k. The product of it is 1, where you will be having n greater than or equal to k and k less than or equal to n. So this is the first term what I've got here, and its value will be, the magnitude here is 1, and it is said to be 0. Now n greater than 0, n greater than 0. So you have y of n, that would be equal to sigma, yeah, this is the value of k here, not n. Make a change, sorry. This is k here, yeah. I have k, that would be equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of k and h of n minus k, x of k and h of n minus k. Now I have the value which will be equal to 1, as I told you, sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity alpha power k, u of k and u of n minus k. Now this is the summation what I have from minus infinity to plus infinity. I have u of k and u of n minus k. So that would be equal to 1, where sigma k equals, I have it from the values. What I set it from 0. I set it from 0 to the value which is there till n. Getting it right? The value which will be there till n. So what is there here? The value of k. So k value which is less than n. So this should be the final limit here. Now where it should start? It should start from 0, because u of k and u of n minus k is a right-handed signal. I cannot take it as from minus infinity to minus 1. So this is the region where I'll be starting it from k equals 0 to k equals n alpha power k into 1. So this 1 is nothing but the magnitude of u of k and u of n minus k. Got it? So now I have a infinite summation formula where I'll be having sigma n equals 0 to n minus 1 alpha power n or a power n, which is given by 1 minus alpha n minus 1 plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha. 1 minus alpha, and its value is said to be equal to n, where alpha equals 1 and alpha equals 1 and alpha not equal to 1. So I have these two cases which are there, which is alpha not equal to 1 and alpha equal to 1, that is the value of capital N. So let me rewrite this equation here again. So I have y of n, that would be equal to 1 minus alpha power, that is the value what I have here n, plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha, where the value of n is greater than or equal to 0. Value of n is greater than or equal to 0. I have Yeah, instead of writing greater than or equal to 0, I can write 1 minus alpha power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha times u of n. Got it? So this is the equation what I need to write. So the value of alpha is not equal to 1. So the value of alpha will be from 0 to 1. So I cannot say it as 1 itself. If I could have taken it as alpha equals to 1, that would be the value of capital N that is there. Now, if I don't have the value of alpha which is already given, which is not equal to 1, I can certainly say that y of n that would be equal to 1 minus alpha power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha into u of n. So this is the equation what you need to write. So 1 minus alpha power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha. Now this is the one what I need to keep in mind, and I have y of n that would be equal to 1 minus this term here. Got it? So I have 0 to yeah, this is not equal. Yeah, this is alpha lies between 0 to 1. Alpha lies between 0 to 1. Okay, so this is the equation what you need to keep in mind, and how we are obtaining the value of alpha. If it is given, if it is equal to 1, it would be capital N. Now if any value of alpha which lies between 0 to 1, it's a direct substitution that you are going to make, and y of n would be equal to 1 minus alpha power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha into u of n. So this is the equation what you need to keep in mind. Okay. So moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one. If you have any doubts, you can unmute yourself and you can let me know. If you have any doubts, you can let me know. Okay. I assume that no one is having any such sort of a doubt here. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one, where y of n would be given as a beta power n u of n convoluted with alpha power n u of n. Now, this is a direct question where you can see alpha and beta are the constants, and u of n is given by a unit a step signal. Now, the value of beta is less than 1. Okay, I take it as mod beta, and mod alpha is less than 1 here. Got it? So I have x1 and x2. I can take anyone as x1 and anyone as x2. It is dependent on how you are going to take it. So let me take generally as x1 of n and x2 of n. What I have written here, I have x1 of n that is given by beta power n u of n, and I have x2 of n that would be given as alpha power n u of n. So I have two signals here which are said to be in convolution with each other, and I need to take the output, that is y of n, that is given by sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x1 of k and x2 of n minus k. So I have these two signals. I'll rewrite it again. So in terms of x1 and x2 of k, n minus k, what I need to write it? x1 of k, I have x2 of k, which is written as like x2 of n minus k. Sorry. Yes, I have x2 of n minus k. I can write it as alpha power n minus k u of n minus k. So these are the things what I need to keep in mind, and I have the remaining ways what I can write it. I can have y of n that would be equal to sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x1 of k. So I have beta power k u of k. Next I have alpha power n minus k into u of n minus k. Now, I'll be regrouping the terms here. So it is alpha power n is taken as a common factor. I mean, outside the summation, I'll be having sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity beta divided by alpha power k, u of k into u of n minus k. So I have these terms, what I can represent it here. Okay, so again, following the same way, u of k and u of n minus k. So the values, let me write down here, u of k and u of n minus k, u of n minus k. So that is having a value 1 and 0. So I need to have these values, that is the values which are there, which is n minus k greater than or equal to 0. Yeah, 1 minute. Greater than or equal to 0 and 0 otherwise. 0 otherwise. So I can write it in such a way that I'll be having a n minus k here. So in the same way, n greater than or equal to k or k less than or equal to n. So this is the way in which I need to write it as a 1 and 0 with the given relevant equations which are mentioned here. So this value will be equal to 0 for n less than 0. N less than 0, y of n is said to be equal to 0. Y of n is said to be equal to 0. Now, for for n greater than or equal to 0, I can have y of n which would be ranging from sigma k equals 0 to n. 0 to n. K value will be 0. From 0 to n, I have alpha power n into the sigma factor beta by alpha power k. So this is the one what I need to keep in mind. I have alpha power n, small n, that is 1 minus beta by alpha whole rise to the power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus beta by alpha. So where beta and alpha are certainly less than 1. Beta and alpha under the modulus we have certainly less than 1. Now what happens? Now what happens if alpha equals beta? What happens if alpha equals beta? Now what happens to the output? Now let me take this output equation which is given as k equals 0 to n, which is given by beta by alpha. I'll be taking it as 1 power k. I have alpha power n as the like the common factor or the constant which is there. I have alpha power n. So I'll be writing it as n plus 1. So sigma 0 to n, 1 power k is 1, sigma 1 from n is equal to 0 to n can be written as n plus 1. So this is a standard identity what you can remember, and I have a y of n that would be equal to alpha power n times n plus 1. So y of n that would be equal to alpha power n times n plus 1. So this is for alpha equals beta, and this is for alpha not equal to beta, where beta under the modulus is less than 1 and alpha less than 1. So that is where we are going to have both alpha and beta less than 1, which is the modulus one. Okay, so this is one of the important terminologies, or I can certainly say it as the constant factors of beta and alpha. So given any values, you should be able to sketch the value, and you should be conclude that whatever the values that we are having for n less than 0, it is said to be the output is 0 then. Now next one, we are going to have the third problem which will be discussed. I'll be giving it here. Let me make a note of it. Yeah. So I have y of n. So this is the third problem. Y of n that would be equal to beta power n u of n, beta power n u of n convoluted with u of n minus 3, convoluted with u of n minus 3, where beta is less than 1. So I have x1 of n, so the solution, and x2 of n. Certainly, how will you take x1 of n is where you can generally keep it in k terms easily, and the next term, which is u of n minus 3, you can certainly take it as the one which you need to have the time convolution one. So it's quite simple where you can solve it. You have the term here, it is already time shifted, and you need to make a shift here also. Got it? So now what you need to do here is you need to have the n minus 3 term, which is there, that should be less than 0, or n should be less than 3. So in such way, you are going to have the output which is equal to 0. Let me write it here. x1 of k and x2 of k. Now, I'll write again, which is y of n, which is given by sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity, that is x1 of k into x2 of n minus k, x2 of n minus k. So I have x1 of k and x2 of n minus k. So x1 of k is given by beta power k u of k, beta power k u of k, x2 of k, or x2 of, yeah, the change here, x2 of n minus k. So I'll be writing it as u of n minus k minus 3, n minus k minus 3. So I'll be writing it as u of n minus 3 minus k. So this is the n term which is there, and this is minus k. So this is more or less like n, and n minus 3 is there. This is minus k, which you will be representing. So I'll be having a sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity. I have x1 of k, which is beta power k, u of k, and I have u of n minus 3, which is that, and minus k. So these two terms here, I'll be representing it as the constants, where I mean the unit step function, what I can represent, I think it's a constant itself, where I'll be having u of k into u of n minus 3 minus k. So that will be equal to 1, n minus 3 minus k, that will be equal to 1 and 0. So I have these two terms which are there, and the values, I'll be writing here the values. So this is n here. So now I have n minus 3, n minus 3, the value is less than 0, y of n will be equal to 0. So I have n less than 3, which is there, and I have y of n is set to be 0. What do you mean by that is y of n, that would be equal to sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity, x1 of k and x2 of n minus k. So that value will be equal to 0 there, and I have y of n, that would be equal to 0. N minus 3 here, less than 0, and I have n less than 3. So for n less than 3, I have output which is 0. Now if I have a term like n less than 4, so I'll be having the output, I'll be generally calling it as n less than 4, that would be equal to 0 again. So any value which is less than 3, any value which is less than 3, I'll be calling it as the term which is y of n, which is said to be equal to 0. So in the number line or the representation, so 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, any value which comes where I have y of n and I have n. So from 4, it will start, or any value less than 3, it would be equal to 0 there. So that is where you are going to interpret the value of the output y of n is said to be equal to 0. Now, for n greater than 3, let me check here. For n greater than 3, for n greater than or equal to 3, greater than or equal to 3. So, I just told you here, which is 3. It starts from 3, yeah. So, it is less than 3. So, the value of n is less than 3. Now, if I give n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4, so I'll be having y of n value where you'll be having n greater than or equal to 3. So, greater than or equal to 3 there. So, that is where we will be having for n greater than or equal to 3, I'll be having y of n that would be equal to sigma n equals 0, n equals 0, I mean the value of k, sorry, the k is equal to 0 to n minus 3. Or I can write this summation in such a way that I'll be having sigma k equals 3 to k equals n. I'll be having x1 of k and x2 of n minus k, that would be there. So what I can represent it here as y of n. So I can write it as sigma k equals 3 to k equals n. I have x1 of k and x2 of n minus k, which is written here. So what is x1 of k here? Which is beta power k u of k, and I have x2 of n minus k, which is written as u of n minus 3 minus k. So I'll be writing it as sigma k equals 3 to k equals n. So I'll be having beta power k into 1. So its value, both the values will be equal to 1, where I'll be having from 3 to n. So how I can write it in such a way that I'll be having the terms which is written as, okay, which is written as, yeah, 1 minus, sorry, 1 minus beta power, yeah, so 1 minute, 1 minus beta power n minus 2 divided by, sorry, yeah, divided by 1 minus beta, 1 minus beta. To that term I'll be having u of n minus 3. So instead of this, if you can have this term, so where you will be having a shift in the time, so this is the value where you can write it for n greater than or equal to 3. So this is the equation where y of n is given by the equations here. Okay, so I have y of n, I have y of n given by 1 minus beta power n minus 2 divided by 1 minus beta which is there, and I'll be having u of n minus 3. So where I can write it as certainly n greater than or equal to 3, or which is the factor where I can use it like n minus 4, whatever may be the values what I can consider here. Applicable only when mod beta is less than 1. Mod beta is less than 1 then. So I can have few more problems where I can discuss it in such a way that you will be finding out the equations related to it, and I can easily have u of n minus k and so on, and I can represent it in such a way that I'll be having the relevant output of a system given. Got it. So next, moving on to the next problem, the last problem for the day. Consider an LTI system. Consider a LTI system with input x of n and unit impulse response and unit impulse response unit impulse response unit impulse response h of n, unit impulse response h of n, where x of n equals 2 power n u of minus n, 2 power n u of minus n, and h of n is given by u of n. H of n is given by u of n. So y of n, that would be equal to x of n convoluted with h of n, where x of n is generally taken as an input and h of n is the unit impulse response of a system. Now I have x of n and h of n, where k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, x of k, and I have h of n minus k, h of n minus k, that is represented as sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity. So this x of k is, yeah, this x of k is given as 2 power k u of minus k, and I have h of n minus k, that is u of n minus k there, that is u of n minus k. So there is a shift in the unit impulse response, and I have retained the power of k with respect to the input signal. So I have 2 power k u of minus k, and h of n minus k is represented as u of n minus k here. Next, I have these functions which I can generally sketch upon, and I'll be making this when minus infinity less than or equal to n, and n less than or equal to 0. So I'll be having the signal like u of n. U of n is sketched like this. If you agree, u of n is sketched like this. Got it? Now u of minus n is a reflected version. So I'll be having a signal where I can write u of minus n like this, and it would be ranging from a 0, minus 1, a minus 2, and up to the point which is minus infinity, and its magnitude is equal to 1. So this is how I can sketch u of minus n. So the value of minus infinity less than or equal to n less than or equal to 0. I have y of n, that would be ranging from sigma k equals minus infinity to n 2 power k, minus infinity to n 2 power k here. Now I need to make a substitution here, where I'll be changing another variable from k to l, k to l. So where I have y of n, that would be equal to minus l, that would be equal to k. So sigma, that would be given as l equals infinity, and I have the value which is given as minus n, minus n. Okay, so I'll be having the value which is given as minus n. So 2 power minus l, 2 power minus l. So next I just wanted to replace m, another variable, which is the sum of l plus n. So where I'll be giving it as y of n, that would be given as sigma m is equal to 0 to infinity, m is equal to 0 to infinity, 2 power minus m minus n, 2 power minus m minus n. So that is given as 2 power n. So sigma m is equal to 0 to infinity, which is 2 power minus m, 2 power minus m. Now I can also represent it as 2 power n. So sigma, sorry, 2 power m sigma m equals 0 to infinity half power m. So I can apply the infinite summation formula, where I'll be having a 2 power n, where y of n equals 2 power n. I'll be having 1 divided by 1 minus 1 by 2. So I'll write it as 2 power n times 1 minus 0.5. So 2 power n divided by 0.5. So that is given as 2 power n plus 1. 2 power n plus 1. So This is the output of an equation where it is given as y of n equals 2 power n plus 1. When when n greater than 0, when n greater than 0, y of n will be equal to sigma k equals minus infinity to 0. I have x of k and h of n minus k. X of k and h of n minus k. I have sigma k equals yeah, again minus infinity to 0. I have 2 power k here. I have 2 power k. So interchanging the order of the summation, I have sigma k equals 0 to infinity. What I change here is the order of the summation and also the sign change. So I'll be having a reversal in the sign change in the coefficient of this factor which is mentioned here. Now I'll be having the value which will be from 0 to infinity. Now I'll expand here. So sigma k equals 1 to infinity 2 power minus k plus 2 power 0. If I give it, it would be equal to, yeah, 2 power 0, it will be equal to 1. Next, I'll be having 2 power minus 1, which is that. Okay, so I can give the values which are there here. So for n greater than 0, for n greater than 0, it will be 2. And for n which lies between minus infinity to 0, it will be 2 power n plus 1. Okay, it would be 2 power n plus 1 here. Okay, so this is what I can write here. This is where 2 power n plus 1, it is minus infinity. This is the equation what I can write here, and I'll be having the value of n greater than 0, that would be equal to 2. So how would I get it as 2 here? So I have 2 power minus k. 1 minute, let me make it quite simple for you. 2 power minus k, so let me keep it as a 0 only here. 0 only. Yeah, I'll be having a sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity 1 by 2 power k. Got it? 1 by 2 power k. So I have the infinite summation formula where I'll be writing it like this. So 2 minus 1 by 2. That would be 2 minus, yeah, that would be equal to 2 then at the end. Okay, so this is how I can rewrite all these things and I can mention it and see to it that you are going to practice more such problems and come prepared. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can let me know right now. If you have any doubts, do let me know right now, or else I'll stop the recording and I'll share the session's recording in tomorrow's class. Okay. So see to it that you are not going to miss out on anything. Practice more and more number of problems which I give, and it would have a very good understanding of such problems. Okay. So we'll stop here and we'll move on to the next concept.